Today marks 1700, 9 day of day lessons, day reflections. And today I want to speak about comfort. And I want to speak about comfort from an angle that comfort is extremely, extremely, extremely expensive. And today I want to share seven truths that are able to reflect why comfort is so expensive. So number one is that comfort trades your future for relief in the present. And this is one of the easiest to understand. That you can play the long game or you can play a short game. And comfort is a short game. But it means that there's so many things that when you think about long term that you need to do something that is uncomfortable. Put yourself in pain, discomfort, struggle, hustle, grind. It's not just sometimes executing, sometimes just sort of facing the truths that you never wanted to face. And that is a different kind of pain. But again, it's all the times we need to choose between easy now or and hard later, or hard now and easy later. And comfort is very expensive because when you really choose easy now, that hard that comes later is tenfold of what you can potentially do right now. How about you? Comfort slowly lowers your tolerance for reality. It's interesting because the more you really stay in a comfort, you start to believe that's comfort. That's what life's supposed to be like. That's how the comfortable, easy, with the flow. But what truly reality means is that we always need to include discipline. And sometimes one of the most interesting thing is that discipline doesn't bring any emotion whatsoever. Sometimes we attach, and sometimes comfortable is to feel house. Comfortable is to really feel excited. Comfortable is to be motivated. This is comfort. What is uncomfortable is doing the things necessary when you don't feel anything, when you're bored, but you still need to do that because you know that this is what needs to be done. And I think that one thing is that comfort really reduces our tolerance for reality. Reality is hard. And it's interesting thing that this is very interesting thing that when you really accept that reality is hard, it becomes easier. When you really expect that reality is easy, then things become hard. Number three, comfort creates the illusion that you are safe while making you fragile. Comfort makes you fragile. That's why comfort is such an expensive thing. And it gives the illusion of safety. And it's such an interesting and probably the easiest example is always is a job. Working 9 to 5. A lot of times there's just thousands of stories and people work 9 to 5 a job and they get fired. They always used to think that they have safety, have stability, they have income coming every single month. They don't take risks. And at some point they realize that that was the biggest risk of all. Not having something at the side, not building something at the side, not developing a skill set at the side, not having something a plan B when you have a job, because that's a risky endeavor. Now, when you really pursue something different, sometimes the plan A is all you got. And I think that sometimes we need to understand that comfort creates an illusion of safety. And we need to really open our eyes to see that even though this feels safe, most likely it's not. Number four, comfort kills urgency. When you feel comfortable, you want to stay in that a little bit longer, maybe a little longer, a little bit longer, and then you after like half a year, after 5 years, after 10 years, you see like, wow, I stayed in this comfort for so long, and why is that? Because comfort kills urgency. You don't want to be urgent when you feel good. You don't want to put yourself in a position that you don't feel that good anymore. And it's like, in the future, I will do. Tomorrow, I will do. And comfort really slowly disappear. And that's where the regrets are built. Number five, comfort can become a form of abandonment. You know that what would help. You know what workout would help. The boundary would help. The conversation would help. but you repeatedly choose temporary ease rather than really putting yourself on a long-term self-respect trajectory. And again, if it's when you don't create those boundaries, when you don't create the things that just needs to be to really develop a better life, you abandon yourself. You didn't create boundaries. That means that people still do cross those boundaries. You don't have those difficult conversations. You're staying in the positions that you don't like. And I think that's something we need to understand. If you really want to live in a comfort, sometimes for short term we'll need to put that ourselves in discomfort because again, sometimes it is uncomfortable to really have the conversation with people so you can have a comfortable life in a sense. Number six, comfort makes your world smaller. It's interesting because when you take risks, when you experience, yeah, and when you expose yourself to different things, every single exposure makes your worldview bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But now when you stay in that comfort, you have no idea how you react under uncertainty, under risk, under exposed different things, and at the same time, that worldview even could start to potentially shrink because you try less things and less things, and at some point, you become very narrow-minded. And that's the thing that one of the biggest things of comfort that really causes narrow-mindedness. Just having those blinders and see only a few things and believing that there's only a few things in life, and you really start to live your life in a way that you expose yourself to different things on a consistent basis, you start to see, wow, beautiful. I didn't know that in life there is so many things that I never exposed myself to. And again, this is very, very important to understand that comfort makes the world smaller. And last one, number seven, is the most dangerous comfort is emotional comfort. And I didn't mention that having conversation creates an enormous amount of discomfort, and I think that we need to really learn that. And it's interesting. Sometimes we stay in familiar pain than uncertainty. We're staying in familiar pain than in uncertainty because uncertain emotions is dangerous, suspicious. Even myself, and I realize as well that when I really start to experience joy, content, not by performance, because that's what I used to base my joy and content just by hustle, grind, performance. And when I really experienced joy and content just by being, I was very suspicious. I didn't understand where that emotion is coming from. And I think that again, this ability to stay in that discomfort, in that suspicion, and allowing yourself to really to reflect on that and meditate on that and stay in that is a beautiful thing because otherwise if you really seek comfort, that means you will go back always to familiarity, and familiarity is not the right place to be in. So how do you reflect as well? This is a beautiful topic. I think that it's so easy to really fall into comfort because I always love to say that we need to live life by design, not by default. So comfort is default mode. So that means that if you really want to live a life of significance, of your choice, we will need to constantly putting ourselves in positions when we do not feel comfortable. And again, now when we look into ourselves, we can ask, in last month, how often did they felt uncomfortable? Be honest to yourself. How often did you feel uncomfortable? Because when I think about my journey, and this year was very, very unique one. I needed to do a lot of healing, a lot of recovery, and I didn't do a lot of risky things that I used to do in the past. That I stayed a little bit longer in comfort than I used to be, and that's an interesting thing because then now I was able to experience different kind of life, and I realized that a month went by and there's nothing that actually did something that challenging. I was like, what is going on? Because I think that every single person needs to really do on not a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, and people who really achieve massive, massive success, they do even on a daily basis something that is uncomfortable. And I think that's exactly what truly means living a joyful life is doing something that is uncomfortable, on consistent basis, just to make sure that we do not allow comfort to stay within us. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.